Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 8, Mercy. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Picard, so I'll have to start with a spoiler warning for Picard up to Season 2, Episode 8. If you have not seen up to this point, you will not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. So, this episode wasn't as bad as the previous, I think 3 or 4 episodes were. Those episodes were actively horrible. The writing in this episode was actually good, the acting was good, and he had good character moments and good character interactions, but placed in a larger context of the season, which you have to, since this is such a serialized show and this episode is only one sliver of the storyline, that's where all the issues come in, because I mentioned before that the season is unsavable and they would have to do huge miracle improvements in order to save the season, which this episode did not even come close to approaching that. And also, it's more spinning its wheels. This is just more asides. This whole season, I believe, could have been done in a 2-hour movie. The comparisons to Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, this is basically, they just wanted to do an updated version of Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, and they could have done that with a 2-hour movie. They just keep adding all these unnecessary undeveloped side plots and over just to stretch the season out. We didn't really need the plot with Picard dealing with the trauma of his mother. That didn't have anything to do with anything. We didn't need the plot of Rios getting arrested by ICE. That didn't really have anything to do with anything. And then there's all the other subplots. Don't even get me started on the whole Jurati Borg Queen BS. And then in this episode, we have the detective dude who, this is an interesting storyline. I thought it was an interesting concept that he was, encountered a Vulcan as a child and misunderstood that as an attack, and so had a thing for aliens, and Picard, gave him closure and explained to him exactly what happened and exactly what's going on. So that's interesting, but it doesn't have anything to do with this season. It's just another unnecessary side plot that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And the whole thing and this is where I would say parts of this episode that were actively bad had to do with Soong, Adam Soong. That whole storyline was not developed. It was not started very well. It was just thrown in there out of the blue, and it's ridiculous and it's dumb. It seems way too fantasy and the characters aren't developed. I don't buy anything about it. So at the end, when the Borg Queen goes and teams up with them, I'm like, sure, why not? Why they're all mustache twirly villains anyway, and nothing in this season makes any fucking sense anyway, so sure, why not? Why not just have them team up? Why not just have fucking Romulans show up and team up with them too? Why not, why don't you just have Osira from Discovery show up and twirl her mustache and she can team up? None of this makes any sense. It is not developed. This whole season is one big giant mess. And even though we got great character moments, not just between the detective one, but also with between Rafi and Seven, I thought their dialogue was very smartly written, and it helped explore Seven's character more, and how she's hesitant to put herself in the shoes of the Borg Queen because of her personal experience. All that stuff was good. Although the problem with that, again, when you place it in a larger context of the show, they're implying this relationship between Rafi and Seven that happened entirely off screen, so we have absolutely no frame of reference or investment in this relationship, And so that's where things fall apart. So no, one smartly written episode still is crap when you put it in a context of a season that's a complete and utter mess. Total mess. And the whole thing with like the Borg Queen, like the fight they had, that was interesting, whatever. But as I said, I'm not here for the Girardi Borg Queen storyline. I think it's dumb. So that's a strike against it. And she can eat car batteries or whatever. I don't care. I'm just checked out of the whole storyline. Now, as far as Q goes, they kind of came close to explaining his motivations. Like, they went a little bit deeper into it because they revealed that he's dying. But I don't really buy his behavior. Like, if you go back and watch my reviews for the first 2 episodes, I was really high in on it, and I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh, this season's going to be great because of the way they're portraying Q. But the more they progress Q's storyline, the more I think, no, this is actually dumb. Like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't like how he's being really obtuse. And it didn't really explain, like, because Guinan is like, oh, why'd you have Picard, why'd you bring him back to this time period? And he's like, I didn't bring him here. They brought themselves here. But he obviously set up a scenario in which he told Picard, hey, fix the timeline. And he knew that the only way they could fix the timeline was to go back in time. But I still don't understand why Q is actively fighting against Picard if he's the one who set up Picard to go solve the situation in the first place. I don't know. It's just a very sloppily written season. None of it makes any sense. Oh yeah, and the whole thing with Rios when he kissed what's her face, that doctor, I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, it's obvious that's what they were setting up for the very instant that they introduced this character. But it just comes off as a big Hollywood cliche. It's not like earned. I don't actually buy their relationship, but it's gonna happen. Like, it's the least surprising thing in the world. But yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about this episode. So, my rating for Mercy out of 10 is going to be a 4. Poor. As an episode in itself, as I said, is not that bad, but it's not an episode on itself. It's in the larger context of a season that is a giant, complete, utter mess. It's a mess. This is some of the most sloppily worst writing I've seen in any serialized show. And if you know me, I'm not against modern Star Trek. I don't want to all Alex Kurtzman sucks and everything he touches sucks. I'm still holding out a lot of hope for Strange New Worlds, which I still think could be awesome. Please, just give me one awesome Star Trek show. And then Lower Decks, I have some issues with it, but I think it is awesome. I think it's a great show. I actually really enjoying Prodigy so far. I'm looking forward to, for its return. And Discovery's gotten better. I will say that the last season was decent. So I don't hate new Star Trek, but Picard is a loss. The season 2 of Picard is one of the worst seasons of all Star Trek. Anyway, so that's it for my review of Picard. I guess I'll be back here again, talk about last 2 episodes of Picard as I sort of, watch this dumpster fire burn itself out, I guess. Anyway, be sure to check out my channel as I cover all things Star Trek and other shows like The Expanse, Star Wars, Clone Wars, and more, so be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all that. And thanks a lot for watching.